Hey guys, this is Dill with a super quick review for you. I'd like to start off with a scale of 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10 meaning that it's down the middle, super average, and with each aspect of the game, I'll basically be adding or subtracting points. So, Cyberpunk 2077. I guess we can say that CG Project Red has a lot of punk, but not enough cyber, huh? So I'm gonna be going off of 4 aspects for this game. The first being graphic, the second being story, the third being gameplay, and the fourth being audio. First off, graphics. Getting to experience a beautiful world with bright colors, rich environments, exploring vast array of NPCs that they're supposed to be, looking at the views, the sun go up, the sun go down. You would think that things would be perfect. After so long, after the long wait, it only kind of is. As you get to experience things, you get the feeling that it looks really good. The opening starts off strong. You get a strong sense of what the game's gonna be like, how everything's gonna look, how everything's gonna feel. As you progress through the story and get to points where it's purposely putting you in a position to look at stuff, and you start to notice, why is there a guy that's just like halfway through a wall? Why is there a gun missing? You're just asking yourself a bunch of questions as to why things are happening in the world. Now obviously it's a open world game, so there's going to be some jank to it, there's going to be some oddities that happen, but when you're falling through the floor as you're just driving along and you're just trying to enjoy the game to the fullest, that's when things kind of bring you out of the immersive world that has been built. The loading of textures as you're driving, when you go to pick something up, you realize, hey, I can't pick this up. There's gonna be oddities that eventually get patched out. You're left to wonder, how am I supposed to enjoy a beautiful game that hasn't been worked through all the way? You doubt your purchase, you doubt what it is that you spend money on. And I think that as great as the graphics look, and as great as some of the areas that they kind of pinpoint for you to see how nice it looks, there's just so much during the game that you experience that ends up hampering your ability to enjoy these things. So for the graphics itself, I will give it a +1, but for all the jank that's in the game, I'm gonna have to take away that point. Next up is story. Now when you start off the game, you do have 3 choices to go for. I'm gonna just be very upfront. There was small enough variation to make the story feel just a bit different, but you end up doing pretty much the same things. So I don't want to ruin anything for people. I don't know if people will consider that spoiler territory, but just a heads up, they do make it hard for me to justify them saying so much about how there's going to be so much variation between the starting points of the game and where you're going to go, because immediately all 3 of the paths, they just abruptly stopped. I think, in my opinion, my favorite of all of them was the Nomad, because the transition into the actual story makes the most sense to me. I feel that the story was kind of lackluster at the very beginning. They give you an interesting mission or an interesting intro, and then kind of get tunneled into something that you have to do during the story that dramatically impacts the rest of the game. And then to even get to that point, you will be loaded with lots of lore, lots of people, lots of groups, lots of everything. You're gonna get everything about the world in the first 2-3 hours of the game, and it's not a bad thing if you like that sort of stuff. If you like being overloaded with information so that you can get more immersed into the world, that's totally fine. I will consider that a +1 towards the overall rating of the game, because I do enjoy that myself. However, I can see how it can be a kind of a slog for some people. There's going to be moments where you're going to just want to be doing things, and you can't, because you're gonna have to be listening to a 20-minute conversation, 30-minute conversation, to scene, to more conversation, and then maybe a confrontation that happens, and then go right back into explanations and talking. There's a lot of that. Next up, gameplay. So with gameplay, it feels like it's the first time that CD Projekt Red has done a first-person experience game. Now, that is a fact. That is true. This is the first time that they've done something like this, so you can feel it. That's all I'm going to say on that. But otherwise, there's interesting weapons, interesting abilities. There's detective-ish type segments that, for better or worse, you know, they do add to the game a little bit. Lots of guns, lots of loot. Most things have variable stats, so it's not like you picking up the same weapon over and over again. They might look the same though, just heads up. But I will have to say, I think my favorite parts of the game were me just running around with the katana and slashing at people. That was fun for me. That, and then sneaking around using electronic power, I guess, to break into places and get around things, distract enemies, things like that. All of that stuff is absolutely fun. But just a disclaimer, this is the company's first FPS game, and you're gonna feel it. I'm just putting it out there. If you play FPS games, if you know what I'm talking about. If you're more into like Skyrim-esque games, then you'll feel right at home. The one thing that I will say is absolutely atrocious in this game is the driving segments. The driving segments in this game are horrible. I don't like them. Any sort of driving experience whatsoever with Forza, anything like that, you're gonna be absolutely let down on that. For the interesting weapons, abilities, all the variety that they bring into the game, I will have to give it a plus in that category. Lastly, we got audio. For audio, there's a lot of categories in itself in that. So to make this fast, I will say that the voice acting.
Green BD?
Sure. In I go.
Hold it. House rules first. There will be severe penalties for any unauthorized recording.
The gun have really decent audio quality.
Come at me if you think you're hard.
The driving, as much as I don't like the vehicles in this game, all the noises that come with the vehicles, those sound good.
60. No.
Overall, for audio, because of how well that they did everything with all the dialogue, with as much variation to the options that you can get in this game, I will give it 2 points. So okay guys, with everything that came together, total score 9 out of 10. Okay, I'm just kidding. When it comes to this game, I'm gonna have to take off 0.5, not because it was my experience, but this is everyone else's experience that played on the PS4 and the Xbox One. I'm gonna have to take off 0.5 from that score. Actually no, -2 from that score, leaving it at a 7 out of 10. Okay, you guys happy? Alright, thanks for watching. Let me know how your guys' Cyberpunk experience was. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'll be coming out with more reviews later. If you guys have anything else that you guys wanted me to add or to let you guys know, let me know.
Yeah. Ooh, motorcycle. Oh yeah. Look at me like that. Yeah? Where?
I hate this fucking city! Phew. Hide yourself!
Get the fuck away from me!
Okay. Look at this. Ooh. Cool. You okay? Look at this mane right here, dude. Ooh, it's weaker, but it looks sick. There needs to be some transmog in this game. I'm gonna take this for a spin.